I'd loved the puzzles for a great many years in other games, and I just thought, wouldn't it be interesting to make those puzzles part of a bigger game, part of a bigger experience. Hello, my name is Ed Fear. I am a lead creative at Mediatonic, which is a game developer that has offices in London and Madrid and Guildford and Leamington Spa, but probably your city by the time you hear this. You may know us from such games as Heaven Strike Rivals, A Total Boyfriend. We released a small little game called Fall Guys last year, which you may have heard of. But I'm here to talk to you today about Murder by Numbers, which is a game that I directed and co-wrote as part of a small team. Okay, so Murder by Numbers, what is it? Well, it's a detective visual novel / logic puzzle game. If you've ever heard of Picross puzzles or nonograms, then you kind of know the puzzles that are involved. The idea is that you are a detective investigating crime scenes in 90s Hollywood, and you have to investigate the crime scenes, talk to people, and then you're also accompanied by a very cute robot called Scout, who can scan environments and find pieces of evidence, which you solve as Picross puzzles, and they resolve into bits of evidence that you can then confront suspects with and try to find out who's at the bottom of all these kind of nefarious cases in 90s celebrity culture. But don't listen to me talk about it. Why don't you have a look at a trailer yourself? Great. So you've just seen our gameplay reveal trailer, which was very much tailored to giving you an idea of how the game actually plays, what the kind of core loop of the game is. It's kind of largely about investigating these murders in 90s Hollywood, but there's kind of there's 4 cases in the game, but there is kind of a large overarching story as well to do with Honor, the main character, who at the beginning of the game is fired from her job under mysterious circumstances, and Scout, the adorable, cute little robot guy, who has woken up in a garbage dump with no memory of what's happened to him. So there's kind of an overarching story throughout all of these cases about what happened to these characters and kind of where they're going. So what we're about to see now is we're about to jump into the game fairly near the beginning. This is when Honor and Scout have only really just met. Like I say, she's been fired she's been fired, and very soon afterwards, her boss is found dead, and so she is naturally prime suspect number 1. So yeah, we join the game at this point where everyone, the murder has just happened. Everyone is stuck together in a break room while the police investigate the crime, and Honor is determined to find a way out and clear her name. She's just met Scout. They're kind of just starting this new partnership. So yeah, let's take a look. So we join here at the end of a puzzle. I know it looks very difficult, and all those numbers and what's going on. Rest assured, it is actually fairly simple. There's a great tutorial in the game, and we will look later at kind of a slightly easier puzzle. But yes, the idea is that once you solve a puzzle, the solution to it is a picture. So that picture obviously is then used as a piece of evidence in the case. So in this instance, Scout has been looking for a way out of the room, and he's discovered this grate in the side of the wall. So that becomes kind of a thing that Honor and Scout can use. Unfortunately, their plan for escaping is thwarted by Becky here. Becky is one of our more prominent side characters. She is she's Honor's co-star in the TV program that they star in together. And she doesn't trust Honor very much. They don't have a great relationship. So she is very much going to say that she is not going to let them escape, because she thinks that if we escape, we will, use our time to try and cover up our tracks or something like that. So this part of the game, this is right near the beginning of the game. So this part of the game is a very simple puzzle. You have to find some way of distracting Becky. And that's kind of the section we're going to see here. So here you can see that you can kind of, there are characters in the environments that you can talk to, and you can kind of ask them various questions, gain information about the case, what might have happened, what they saw, their alibis or whatever. So here we are kind of having a chat with Becky to find out what she knows about this murder, which is at this point not very much. The game is set in a period of time that I really love, which is the 90s, which was kind of my coming of age period. But also I set it in Hollywood because I thought it would be really interesting to set kind of a murder mystery game around, the kind of dark dealings of Hollywood and, the darker side of fame and things like that. So Becky represents a lot of that. She's the main star of the TV program that Honor also stars in. She is very much the young ingenue, quite a diva, great fun character to write. She has, you can see the fabulous 90s fashion that she's wearing, which was very much inspired by pictures of Lindsay Lohan that I would see in Heat magazine in the early noughties. The fashions were designed by Moa, who's our character creator. She was the creator of Her Boyfriend. She did a lot of research on 90s fashions in order to create the looks of the characters. She is Japanese, so she didn't necessarily have the same cultural touch points as us, but she did watch the entire first season of Friends just to kind of get an idea of what people in the West in the 90s were wearing. And I got to say, I love 90s fashion, and that was the sole reason to set the game in the 90s, really. So you could, what you just saw there was Honor showing Becky a piece of evidence. In this case, showing her the air vent. This is kind of a way in which you can catch people out. You can show them things that disprove whatever they're saying. So here we've got Scout scouring the scene for evidence, and when you find something in the scene, this is what you get. This is a nonogram puzzle, or some people may know it as a Picross puzzle, which is a brand which is quite well known by. They look very terrifying, but they're actually incredibly simple. You can learn the rules in less than 3 minutes. I think that's how long the tutorial is. And from there, it's a wonderful type of puzzle where the basic rules are incredibly simple, but the more you play it, the more kind of strategies you learn as you're doing so. And that, one of the things we really worked hard with on the game was to ensure that there was a really good kind of ramp up in difficulty as you play it. So it starts off pretty easy, but by the end, even hardcore Picross nonogram players will be kind of challenged by what they play. But yeah, they're great fun. It's really simple. You just use the number clues on the side of the grid tell you how many squares you should fill in on that row or column. And if there's more than one number, it means there's so if there's a 2 and a 5, it means there's a group of 2 and a group of 5 somewhere, but you need to work out where those are. And as you can see here, we've got a lot of assistance options. So if you're not very good at them, if you do find them hard, there's a lot of kind of ways that you can get the game to help you. You won't really be that penalized for it. So it's a really kind of low intensity but great fun kind of mixture of kind of detective story and these great fun logic puzzles that kind of represent detective work in some way. So here you can see John, that's his name. I almost forgot for a second there. John is a mega fan of the TV show that you and Becky are a part of called Murder Mystery. And he's a mega fan. He happened to be on the set, happened to have snuck on the set the day of the murder, which makes him a key suspect in the case. Again, you gotta love the bum bag, very 90s, from waistcoat over t-shirt. 90s fashion, very much part of this game. Boy, we loved making it. So all of the characters in this game were designed, as I mentioned before, by Moa and Damu, her assistant, and they are 2 Japanese creatives who are known for the Hatofa Boyfriend games. Excellent, truly excellent character designers, and a really great kind of international collaboration working with them. I have always been very inspired by the anime aesthetic, and working with someone who really understood that was really important to me. So we'd worked before in the past, and it was great to get a chance to work with her again. Probably the most fun we had was designing that in the third case that takes place in a drag club. And we got to design 2 drag queens, which was a huge amount of fun for both me and Moa. Both something we'd wanted to do for a long time, so we decided to tick off some bucket list items when we were making this game. And the music, again, is another great international collaboration by a guy called Masakazu Sugimori, a Japanese guy who is known for primarily for being the original composer of the Phoenix Wright games. Really, really excellent. Also worked on games like Beautiful Joe and Ghost Trick. A really amazing guy. We were very, very lucky to get him on board, and he really enjoyed working on a game in a slightly different style to stuff that he'd done before, and with quite a kind of poppy and upbeat aesthetic, which is fully in line with the kind of music he does. So it's great fun, and really great collaboration. So now we've found a doll, an action figure. I shouldn't say doll. What's his name? John would be very upset if I called it a doll. We found an action figure and a screwdriver. So here we can, we can show Becky the screwdriver. She doesn't really think much of it, but we can show her the doll. And actually, no, that was something else we just showed her. I'll skip over that. We can show her the doll, and it kind of triggers an argument between her and John, which is useful for us for escaping this room. So kind of engineering an argument that engages Becky is kind of the solution to this puzzle. And obviously we had a lot of fun writing this. We obviously are huge fans of different TV shows ourselves, so we were and also we create things that have fans as well, so we really got to embody both sides of this kind of creative and fan dynamic, which was great fun. So yeah, we found the screwdriver to open the vent, and we've distracted Becky, so it's time to go into the vent. And we here in this instance, Scout will use his abilities to kind of map the vents, which leads to another puzzle. A nice, quick, and easy one, which, as I say, at this beginning stage of the game, they all are really. Scout is kind of a mascot of this game. He is, we really wanted to create a character that was adorable and that people, really felt for quite early on. And so we spent a long time designing him with Moa and Damu. A lot of iteration and trying things and going back and forth and scrapping everything and what have you. But he's a great character. I love him very dearly, and a lot of the fans of the game are constantly telling me how adorable they find him, and quite often saying that they would die for him, which I hope is something that doesn't ever necessarily have to happen, but you never know. It's good to have in my back pocket. So here you can see that you earn points whenever you do puzzles, and once you earn over a certain number of points, you raise what's called your detective rank, which is different for each case. And once you go up in detective rank, you unlock bonus puzzles. So although there are puzzles that you will play as you go through the game, and that pop up that you have to complete to go forward, you can also there's also a lot of extra puzzles that you can play for fun. I'd loved the puzzles for a great many years. I was a huge, I played them before in other games, and I just thought, wouldn't it be interesting to make those puzzles part of a bigger game, part of a bigger experience? And, how could we use those puzzles as being an ingredient rather than an end to themselves? So the idea of using them as clues to a detective story came to me fairly quickly, and it's been a huge amount of fun to make, and hopefully a huge amount of fun to play. Okay, well, I think I've kept you quite long enough, but yeah, if you've enjoyed this look at Murder by Numbers, this look behind the curtain, then you can find out more about the game at mediatonicgames.com, our website, or you can find the game on Steam, on the Nintendo Switch eShop, or on Google Stadia. Massive thanks to London Games Festival for featuring us. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, I really hope you like the look of what you've seen. But that's it. I'm gone. Goodbye. Have you gone yet? Have you gone yet?